Well, good morning, everyone. We are jumping on a little early today because President Trump is speaking. We are waiting. Let's see here. Bear with me, everyone. There we go.
Morning.
Good morning, Alex.
How are you?
I'm good. We're just jumping on early so we can see if we can catch some of President Trump.
Well, he is speaking live at the U.S. Saudi Investment Forum.
Okay.
Let me
All right. I think we're live on all the platforms. Everybody, we're a little discombobulated because we just decided to jump on quickly and catch some of President Trump's speech in Saudi Arabia. So bear with us if you would. Good morning, Violet. Good morning, Wendy. Good morning, Ronnie. Good morning, Joy.
Now, we're about 13 minutes behind, so I'm just going to skip ahead of the pleasantries here.
Okay. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Did you get my text about going early?
I did.
Okay.
What a great place, but more importantly, with great people. I want to thank His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, for that incredible.
And did everybody notice that when he got to Saudi Arabia, there were purple steps and a purple tie, signifying what? Royalty.
And it's a tremendous honor to return to this beautiful kingdom and be welcomed back with such extraordinary generosity and warmth. I've never forgotten the exceptional hospitality showed to us by King Solomon, who is just, we talk about a great man. That is a great man. That is a great man, a great family. Now, that visit took place exactly 8 years ago. The graciousness of the royal family and the Saudi people is really unsurpassed, no matter where you go. And we also thank the countless ministers, government officials, business leaders, and distinguished guests for that warm welcome. Really warm and
Can you hear it okay, Sam?
Yes.
pull out all of your names, but we have a lot of problems. We'll be here for a long time.
Good morning, Wendy. Good morning, Tim Shaw. Good morning, Joy. Good morning, Kings Girls, 1974.
80 years of close partnership between the United States and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ever since President Franklin Roosevelt met with King Solomon's father, King Abdul Aziz, aboard the USS Quincy in 1945, the U.S.-Saudi relationship has been a bedrock of security and prosperity. Today we reaffirm this important bond and we take the next steps to make our relationship closer, stronger, and more powerful than ever before. It is more powerful than ever before. And by the way, it will remain that way. We don't go in and out like other people. It will remain that way. I've come this afternoon to talk about the bright future of the Middle East, but first let me begin by sharing the abundance of good news from a place called America. In less than 4 months, our new administration has achieved more than most other administrations accomplish in 4 years or even 8 years. We've actually done, for the most part, more. The day I took office, we inherited, thank you. The day I took office, we inherited a colossal invasion on our southern border, an invasion like you'd never want to see here. Nobody should ever want to see it. But within weeks, we slashed illegal border crossings to an all-time low, down 99.999%. That's good, even for this great gentleman standing right in front of me. That's a good number. We had We had hundreds of thousands of people that came in at the same time last year. And last month, we had, in this massive border, 3 people that got in. That's quite a difference. And we have no choice but to get a lot of the people that came in because they were not the best people. They were, in many cases, very bad people. We're getting them out. We're getting them out very fast. We're bringing them back to where they came from. We have no choice. After years of military recruiting shortfalls, enlistments in the U.S. Armed Forces are now the highest in 30 years.
If you don't want to listen, you can scroll on to another channel, ladies and gentlemen.
United States of America. We have tremendous.
Yeah, the trolls are alive and well today.
About a year ago, there was a big story, front page on every paper all over the world, that nobody wanted to enlist in our military, meaning we were way under enlisted. And just last week it came out that we had the strongest enlistment. They say 30 years, but probably it's maybe ever. They don't go back that far. It's the best.
Quite frankly, make Guantanamo great again.
It's the United States right now. A brand new poll from Rasmussen just showed that the number of Americans who believe the nation is on the right track, they have a right track, wrong track, is now the highest in over 20 years. And it's hasn't been anything like this because for many years it was the wrong track. And I can tell you for the last 4 years it was definitely the wrong track, but it's the highest it's been in many, many years.
You have a blessed day too.
We named the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. That was very popular, other than perhaps with Mexico.
Good morning, Sarge.
And most importantly, to the people in this room, the days of economic misery under the last administration are rapidly giving way to the greatest economy in the history of the world. We are rocking. The United States is the hottest country, with the exception of your country, I have to say, right? I'm not going to take that on. No, Mohammed, I'm not going to take that on. Wouldn't that be a terrible thing if I made that full statement? But I will not do it. You're hotter. At least as long as I'm up here, you're hotter. But groceries, gasoline, energy, and all other prices are down with no inflation. We have no inflation, and in a few short weeks, we've created 464,000 brand new jobs. Think of that. Almost 500,000 jobs created just in a matter of weeks. We just reached a historic trade agreement with the United Kingdom, and over the weekend we reached a breakthrough agreement with China. Both outstanding deals. China's agreed. We have to get it down. We have to get the details down. Scott, you're going to work on that very hard. But China's agreed to open up to the United States for trade and everything else. But they have to do it, so we'll see what happens. But we had a very, very good meeting with both of those countries. We are cutting 10 old regulations for every new regulation. We're getting rid of all of the red tape that is so many, frankly, countries as they get older, they develop a lot of red tape, and we're getting rid of it. We're getting rid of it at record levels. And I'm pleased to report that Congress is on the verge of passing the largest tax cut and regulation cut in American history. We think we're in good shape to get that. And if we get that, that will be like a rocket ship for our country. In the first quarter of the year, the investment in America was up an astounding 22%. More than $10 trillion of new investments have been announced or are coming just since the election on November 5th. So think of that. In a very short period of time, we have over $10 trillion, and it could be much higher than that. Not everybody comes to the White House to have a news conference that they're going to be opening up in America, but they're all coming in numbers that we've never seen before. If you take a look at other presidents.
Good morning, JP.
$1 trillion sometime in years.
Good morning, Sarah.
2 months, because you have to say we got into office and they gave me about a month to clean up and fix up the Oval Office, and after that we started working, and the money is pouring in, the jobs are pouring in, the companies are for a country like we've never seen before. There's never been anything like it. And
Good morning, AZ Patriot.
loss into losing a lot of money and a lot of jobs, and now we're tariffing them, and it's at a level that nobody's seen. It's a level that is making us a very much different country and a very different Republican Party. We won a tremendous victory in November. We won all 7 swing states.
Good morning, Marianne.
Millions of votes. The Electoral College, we won by 312 to 226. Remember, they said, well, we could get to 270. No, we got to 312. It's a big difference. And very importantly, we won counties throughout the United States, 2,660 to 451. That's why when you look at a map, they're all red. So the whole country is red. Red stands for Republican. From the moment on and from the moment we started, we've seen wealth that just poured and is pouring back
Thanks for
into
the gifts.
America. Apple is investing $500 billion. NVIDIA is investing, and I see my friend is here, Jensen. That's very good, wherever you might be. And thank you very much, because he's putting in $500 billion. TSMC is investing. Where is Jensen, by the way? Where is he? He's standing here. Where is he? I just saw that. Thank you very much, Jensen. I mean, Tim Cook isn't here.
Apple's not here.
He said he's got 99% of the chip market. I don't know. That's not easy to beat. But what a job you've done.
Howard Lutnick always looks so happy.
You know that. Thank you for the investment. TSMC is investing $200 billion, and with this trip, we're adding over $1 trillion more in terms of investment into our country and buying our products. And you know, nobody makes military equipment like us. With the best military equipment, the best missiles.
Yes,
the best
Trailblazer, the best is yet to come.
submarines, by the way, most lethal weapon in the world. In addition to purchases of $142 billion of American-made military equipment by our great Saudi partners, the largest ever. This week there are multi-billion-dollar commercial deals with Amazon, Oracle, AMD. They're all here. Uber, Qualcomm, Johnson & Johnson, and many, many more.
Yeah, that's what this is about.
Yep.
So I want to congratulate everybody. So many
And I
great
bet
businesses.
dollars to donuts, Saudi Arabia is
You know,
bankrolling quite a bit of it.
and, you know, about a month ago, they weren't that happy when they saw me. And now they're saying, "Sir, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much." Amazing what a rising market will do. Oh, it's going to get a lot higher. Like I told people 5 weeks ago, it's a great time to buy. I got criticized for that. Now they don't criticize me anymore. People should have listened. But it's going to go a lot higher. We've never had anything like this happen. It's an
Oh,
explosion.
sorry.
That's okay.
Investment and jobs and great companies.
Put the crack pipe down.
Like it, there's no better place to make a future or make a fortune, do anything, frankly, than what we have in the United States of America under a certain president, Donald J. Trump. I have the right attitude.
Good morning, Mama Bear.
Row, second row, third row out. As you get back, perhaps they start to wane a little bit in terms of their view. But
Good
they
morning, Toby.
understand that we're doing what a lot of smart people would do, and we're not necessarily being politically correct. You saw what we did yesterday with healthcare. We've cut our healthcare by 50 to 90%. You're going to see drugs and pharmaceuticals come down at numbers that nobody has ever seen.
Yes, Mama Bear. He's live, but we're a few minutes behind.
And we a redistribution of costs with other nations, which really took advantage of a very nice group of people that ran our country. But not only is this a time of incredible excitement in the United States, it's also an exhilarating period right here in the Arabian Peninsula. Beautiful place, by the way. Beautiful place. Exactly. Exactly 8 years ago this month, I stood in this very room and looked forward to a future in which the nations of this region would drive the forces of terrorism and extremism, drive them right out of existence. and take your place among the proudest, most prosperous, most successful nations anywhere in the world.
Good morning, Dana Mackey.
And rising Middle East, so exciting, so exciting.
Good morning, Marianne.
Wow, do you sleep at night? How do you sleep? Huh? Just thinking. What a job. He tosses and turns like some of us. Tosses and turns all night. How do I make it even better all night? It's the ones that don't toss and turn. They're the ones that will never take you to the promised land, won't they? But you have done some job. True. But critics doubted that it was possible what you've done. But over the past 8 years, Saudi Arabia has proved the critics totally wrong. The transformation that has occurred even by these incredible business leaders. I mean, they're the biggest leaders in business anywhere in the world standing right before us.
So
But the transformation
that's interesting.
under the leadership
What?
of King Salman and Crown Prince.
That's the
Mohammed.
American flag wave going over.
Thing is, I don't think ever happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at Interstate.
Interesting.
And I guess you could say the United States is doing pretty well too. Yeah, but I don't think too many people have seen that happen before. Majestic skyscrapers, the towers that I see, the difference between now and 8 years ago. And 8 years ago was very impressive, but the towers that I see rising, some of the exhibits that I was shown by Mohammed, what I've seen there is just an amazing, it's an amazing process, an amazing genius.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Architecture, but I have a feeling nowhere.
Good morning, Stacy. Agape Rescues Children.
Happens to be sitting right in this room, right.
Good morning,
before me,
Susie.
the towers and all of the different. I've seen a lot of different towers. I didn't think there's any version of a tower that I haven't seen in one form or another. I just passed 4 exhibits. I have never seen anything like any of them. So it's going to be very exciting. And they sit among the ancient wonders of a growing and exciting city. It's really amazing. Riyadh is becoming not just a seat of government, but a major business, cultural, and high-tech capital of the entire world. The World Cup is here. Johnny, just stand up, Johnny. Johnny, thank you, Johnny. Great job, Johnny, great job. But the World Cup and the World Expo will soon be coming here, just like the World Cup is coming to the United States. It's going to be really exciting next year. The engines of Formula One racing now roar through the streets of Jeddah in a historic milestone. Other industries recently surpassed oil. Think of it, all of your other industries now have surpassed oil. I don't know if a lot of people will understand what that means. It's so big to make up a majority of the Saudi economy for the very first time ever. So think of that. Other industries are now bigger even than oil, which is always going to be a big monster. It's a big one. But that's a great tribute to you and economic development properly used. In other cities throughout the peninsula, places like Dubai and Abu Dhabi, Doha, Muscat, the transformations have been.
Good morning, Donna.
Before our eyes, is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other out of existence. We don't want that. And it's crucial for the wider world to know this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spend trillions and trillions of dollars failing.
Good morning, John Gwynn. Donna, thank you for the gifts.
Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own.
Good morning, Art Young.
Your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it.
Good morning, I'm married to Bob.
Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage.
Good morning, Dawn.
Embracing your
The third
national
G.
tradition and embracing that same heritage that you love.
Good morning, Art Young.
Whoa.
Wow, what is that?
Whoa. Chipmunk on a treadmill.
That was cool.
Even a modern miracle, the Arabian way. That's a good way.
I think that was from Sarge. Thanks, Sarge.
Today, the Gulf nations have shown this entire region a path towards safe and orderly societies with improving quality of life, flourishing economic growth, expanding personal freedoms, and increasing responsibilities on the world stage. After so many decades of conflict, finally it is within our grasp to reach the future that generations before us could only dream about, a land of peace, safety, harmony, opportunity, innovation, and achievement right here in the Middle East. So beautiful.
Peace through strength.
That's happening. I guess, the people that are here can't even really appreciate it because you see it happening, and it's when you come to a place that you haven't seen in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years that it's even more incredible. When I left office just over 4 years ago, that future seemed almost impossible. What you've done. Together we had obliterated the killers of ISIS. We wiped them out, terminated its founder and leader, al-Baghdadi. We had healed the divide in the Gulf Cooperation Council. It's a very big deal. And united the nations of the region to stand against the enemies of all civilization. We'd imposed unprecedented sanctions on
Absolutely right, Art Young. Absolutely right.
Of resources to fund terror. They were unable to fund anything because they had no money left. They had no money. But the new administration came in and let them have a lot of money.
Good morning, Mary Lise Brown.
And with the historic Abraham Accords that we're so proud of, all the momentum was
yes, John, common sense.
very successful. It's been an amazing thing, the Abraham Accords. And it's my fervent hope, wish, and even my dream that Saudi Arabia, a place I have such respect for, especially over the last fairly short period of time, what you've been able to do, but we'll soon be joining the Abraham Accords. I think it'll be a tremendous tribute to your country. And it will be something that's really going to be very important for the future of the Middle East. I took a risk in doing them, and they've been an absolute bonanza for the countries that have joined. The Biden administration did nothing for 4 years. We would have had it filled out. But it will be a special day in the Middle East with the whole world watching when Saudi Arabia joins us. And you'll be greatly honoring me, and you'll be greatly honoring all of those people that have fought so hard for the Middle East. And I really think it's going to be something special, but you'll do it in your own time. And that's what I want, and that's what you want, and that's the way it's going to be. When I left office, the only thing still standing between this region and its unbelievable potential was a small group of rogue actors and violent thugs seeking constantly to drag the Middle East backward and into havoc, mayhem, and indeed into war. Unfortunately, instead of confronting these destructive forces, the last U.S. administration chose to enrich them and empower them and give them billions and billions of dollars. The Biden administration, the worst administration in the history of our country, by the way, spurned our most trusted and long-standing Gulf partners, and I can say partners worldwide. worldwide, one of our great, great partners, no matter who we look to, and we have great partners in the world, but we have none stronger and nobody like the gentleman that's right before me. He's your greatest representative, greatest representative. And if I didn't like him, I'd get out of here so fast. You know that, don't you? He knows me well. I do. I like him a lot. I like him too much. That's why we give so much, you know? Too much. I like you too much. Great guy. They lifted sanctions on Iran in exchange for getting nothing and sent the regime tens of billions of dollars to fund terror and death all over the world. And they laughed at him. They laughed at our leader. And they're still laughing at our leader. They thought him a fool. And they made nothing but trouble ever since, including funding of October 7th, one of the worst days ever in the history of the Middle East. Horrible day. Biden
Good morning, not a guru.
in the list of foreign terrorist organizations.
Good morning, Brad.
Even while missiles and drones were being launched right here at your beautiful city of Riyadh and launched at ships that they happened to be sailing in the wrong location.
Good morning, Scratch.
Nation's extreme weakness and gross incompetence derailed progress toward peace, destabilized the region, and put at risk everything we had worked so hard to build together.
Good morning, Sassy.
Great achievements that you've made to do it in light of a pretty hostile administration, an administration that was not a believer. It makes your achievements even greater.
Good morning, Mr. Alton. Hey, just so everybody knows, we jumped on early to watch President Trump speak in Saudi Arabia.
American strength at home and abroad. Now working with the vast majority of people in this region who seek stability and calm. Our task is to unify against the few agents of chaos and terror that are
Good morning, Franny.
Holding hostage the dreams of millions and millions.
Good morning, Amy.
The biggest and most destructive of these forces is the regime in Iran, which has caused unthinkable suffering in Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, Iraq, Yemen, and beyond.
Good morning, Ram Girl.
In contrast with the path you have pursued on the Arabian Peninsula, then the disaster unfolding right across in the Gulf of Iran. Think of that. They wanted to name it that. I said, they're not going to let them do that. You mind if I stop that? I stopped it. We're not going to let that happen.
Yes, Lee, he makes me happy too.
While you have been constructing the world's tallest skyscrapers in Jeddah and Dubai, Tehran's 1979 landmarks are collapsing into rubble and dust. They had it going for a little while under a much different system, but those buildings are largely falling apart, falling down, while you're building some of the world's biggest and most incredible infrastructure projects. Buildings, all sorts of things you're building that nobody's ever even seen before. Iran's decades of neglect and mismanagement have left the country plagued by rolling blackouts lasting for hours a day. All the time you hear about it. While your skill has turned dry deserts into fertile farmland, Iran's leaders have managed to turn green farmland into dry deserts as their corrupt water mafia, let's call it the water mafia, causes droughts and empty riverbeds. They get rich. They don't let the people.
Thank you, Franny.
And of course, there's the key difference at the root of it all. While the Arab states are focused on becoming pillars of regional stability and world commerce, Iran's leaders are focused on stealing their people's wealth to fund terror and bloodshed abroad.
Susie, Franny, thank you for the gifts. I didn't see them.
An entire region with them.
Man, he's really going after Iran today, isn't he?
Iranian effort
Of course
to
he is.
maintain a crumbling regime in Syria. Look at what happened with Syria. In Lebanon, their Hezbollah proxies have pillaged the hopes of a nation whose capital, Beirut, was once called the Paris of the Middle East. Can you imagine all of this misery and so much more was entirely avoidable? Absolutely avoidable, and Mohammed knew that. He knew that. Smart people
Hey,
knew
not a
that.
guru. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome.
Building the nation up instead of tearing the region down. Yet I'm here today not merely to condemn the past chaos of Iran's leaders, but to offer them a new path and a much better path toward a far better and more hopeful future. As I've shown repeatedly, I am willing to end past conflicts and forge new partnerships for a better and more stable world, even if our differences may be very profound, which obviously they are in the case of Iran. I have never believed in having permanent enemies. I am different than a lot of people think. I don't like permanent enemies, but sometimes you need enemies to do the job, and you have to do it right. Enemies get you motivated. In fact, some of the closest friends of the United States of America are nations we fought wars against in generations past, and now they're our friends and our allies. I want to make a deal with Iran. If I can make a deal with Iran, I'll be very happy if we're going to make your region and the world a safer place. But if Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive maximum pressure, drive Iranian oil exports to zero, like I did before.
Good morning, Chris Romano. Good morning, Golfer Kath.
Bankrupt country because of what they did. They had no money for terror. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah.
Good morning, Rosie.
Required to stop the regime from ever having a nuclear weapon. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon.
Yes, Susie. God bless President Trump.
But with that said, Iran can have a much brighter future. We'll never allow America and its allies to be threatened with terrorism or nuclear attack. The choice is theirs to make. We really want them to be a successful country. We want them to be a wonderful, safe, great country. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is an offer that will not last forever. The time is right now for them to choose.
Good morning, Jess the Mess.
Time to wait. Things are happening at a very fast pace. Happening right here. They're happening at a very fast pace. So they have to make their move right now, one way or the other. Make your move. As I said in my inaugural address, my greatest hope is to be a peacemaker and to be a unifier. I don't like war. We have the greatest military, by the way, in the history of the world. You know, I rebuilt our military in my first 4 years and rebuilt it into the most powerful military there is. And you saw that when I knocked out ISIS in 3 weeks. People said it would take 4 years, 5 years. I did it. We did it in 3 weeks. Just days ago, my administration successfully brokered a historic ceasefire to stop the escalating violence between India and Pakistan. And I used trade to a large extent to do it. I said, fellas, come on, let's make a deal. Let's do some trading. Let's not trade nuclear missiles. Let's trade the things that you make so beautifully. And they both have very powerful leaders, very strong leaders, good leaders, smart leaders. And it all stopped. Hopefully it'll remain that way, but it all stopped. I was very proud of Marco Rubio, all of the people that worked so hard. Marco, stand up. What a great job you did on that. Thank you, JD. Marco. The whole group worked with you, but it was a great job. And I think they're actually getting along. Maybe we can even get them together a little bit, Marco, where they go out and have a nice dinner together. Wouldn't that be nice? But we've come a long way, and it's could be, millions of people could have died from that conflict that started off small and was getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the day. I've also been working relentlessly to end the terrible bloodshed between Russia and Ukraine, and very importantly, talks are being held in Turkey later this week, probably on Thursday, and they could produce some pretty good results. Our people are going to be going there. Marco's going to be going there. Others are going to be going, and we'll see if we can get it done. 5,000 people, young people for the most part, soldiers, from Ukraine, soldiers from Russia. They're not from here and they're not from the United States, but their souls. Their souls, I think, usually, mostly they're young, beautiful souls that left their parents waving goodbye, left their brothers and sisters. Goodbye, I'll see you soon. And they got blown to pieces. 5,000 on average a week are dying. And people are dying elsewhere in the region, but tremendous numbers like we haven't seen since World War II are dying. And I want to stop it. I want to stop it. It's a horrible war. Would have never happened if I were president. That's a war that would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened if I were president because Iran had no money to pay Hamas or anybody else. They had no money. They were not looking to take care of them. They had to take care of themselves. They had no money. We stopped their oil effectively with the embargoes and sanctions. But let me take this opportunity to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the constructive role that you played in facilitating the Ukraine talks. And it really is. You've been amazing. You've made everything available to us. Thank you very much. Thank you. And if we get that settled, we'll pay a special tribute to what you've done. You really did lay a great groundwork. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. The West should not be dragging itself backward into another endless war in Europe, yet another endless war. We should stop the killing and work together to address the biggest long-term threats as one unbeatable team. Think of us as an unbeatable team. I mean, when you look at what you've done here, that's much more difficult than stopping stupidity. Think of it. It's stupidity. What you've done is much more difficult, and you did it better than anybody else has ever done it. As President of the United States, my preference will always be for peace and partnership whenever those outcomes can be achieved. Always. It's always going to be that way. Only a fool would think otherwise. In recent years, far too many American presidents have been afflicted with the notion that it's our job to look into the souls of foreign leaders and use U.S. policy to dispense justice for their sins. They love using our very powerful military, and now it's really the most powerful it's ever been. We just are getting a budget approved, $1 trillion, highest budget we've ever had in history for military, $1 trillion. And we're getting the greatest missiles, the greatest weapons. And, you know, I hate to do it, but you have to do it because we believe in peace through strength. You have to have the strength, otherwise bad things could happen. But hopefully we'll never have to use any of those weapons. Seems to be an awfully big waste of money. You're never going to use them, but hopefully we'll never have to use them because the destructive power of some of those weapons are like nobody's seen before. I believe it is God's job to sit in judgment, my job to defend America and to promote the fundamental interests of stability, prosperity, and peace. That's what I really want to do. I will never hesitate to wield American power if it's necessary.
Yes, Mary, purple tie and purple stairs on Air Force One.
Defend our allies. And there will be no mercy for any foe who tries to do us or them harm. We will have no mercy. They understand that. That's why I've been pretty lucky. A lot of people think, you know, he's looking to fight. He's looking to fight, and things get settled. It's an amazing thing when they really think you mean it. But we do. We have the greatest military, the strongest military, stronger than any. Nobody's even close. We have the best weapons in the world, but we don't want to use them. If you threaten America or our partners, however, then you'll be faced with overwhelming strength and devastating force. We have things that you don't even know about, you don't hear about. And if you did, you say, wow. In recent weeks following repeated attacks on American ships and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea.
Thank you, not a guru.
They launched more than 1,100 strikes on the...
Good morning, Tammy.
As a result, the Houthis agreed to stop. They said, we don't want this anymore. It's the first time you've heard that from them, too. They're tough. They're fighters. But just days ago, we were asked to cease targeting commercial. They were not going to be targeting commercial ships in any way, shape, or form, anything American. And they were very happy that we stopped. But we had 52 days of thunder and lightning like they've never seen before. This was a swift, ferocious, decisive, and extremely successful use of military force. Not that we wanted to do it, but they were shooting down ships. They were shooting at you. They were shooting at Saudi Arabia. We don't want them shooting at Saudi Arabia, if that's okay. So we hit them hard.
Are young? That's a very deep question we'll try and dig into later.
Since January 20th, the U.S. military has terminated 83 terrorist leaders operating across Iraq, Syria, and Somalia, including ISIS's #2 global leader. You read about that just recently. With the help of Pakistan, we apprehended the ISIS terrorists responsible for the attack on 13 American service members that Abigate that horrible, horrible disaster.
No, Jess, it's live. It's just about 5 minutes behind.
Afghanistan withdrawal, that's another thing that we don't even think about so much anymore. 13 died, but 42
We're about 10 minutes behind the live broadcast.
People died overall because I count the people on the other side. Hundreds of people just grossly incompetent. It's probably why Putin decided to go into Ukraine, something he never would have done if I were president. But we wouldn't have had the problems of October 7th if I were president. We wouldn't have had Ukraine, Russia if I were president. We wouldn't have had Abigate because there wouldn't have been any reason we were getting out, but we were getting out with dignity and with strength and power. But the way they got out was not good. I think it was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And we've been working tirelessly to bring back all hostages held by Hamas. We brought back a lot already, but we're bringing back more. This weekend, we successfully negotiated the release of the last American hostage, Edan Alexander. Just came out a few hours ago, and we continue to work to get that war ended as quickly as possible. It's a horrible thing that's taking place. All civilized people must condemn the October 7th atrocities against Israel, which would never have happened again if you had probably a different president, but definitely yet me as president. The people of Gaza deserve a much better future, but that will or can not occur as long as their leaders choose to kidnap, torture, and target innocent men, women, and children for political ends. The way those people are treated in Gaza is not a place in the world where people are treated so badly. It's horrible. After years of suffering, two of the nations most ravaged by terror are finally beginning to end their long nightmares under the new generation of leaders. In Lebanon, where a friend of mine has just become the ambassador, is going to be great. I said, that could be a very dangerous job. He said, I was born there. I'm Lebanese. I love that country.
Hey.
I said, very dangerous. This is a friend of mine from New York. I said, but it's very dangerous. Are you sure you want to do it? I never thought of him as being a warrior, but he is a warrior. He loves his country. He said, if I'm injured or die, I die for a country that I love.
If he backs out, President Trump, I'm available.
Ambassador, I can tell you that, in Lebanon, which has been endlessly victimized by Hezbollah.
You'd be a great ambassador, Sam.
Oh, yeah, dude.
The new president and prime minister brought the first real chance in decades for a more productive partnership with the United States, and we're going to work with their new ambassador and everybody else, Marco, and we're going to see if we can really help them out and let them get over that very high grid that they're going to have to get over. My administration stands ready to help Lebanon create a future of economic development and peace with its neighbors. They have tremendous people in Lebanon, doctors, lawyers, great professional people. I hear it so many times. Likewise in Syria, which has seen so much misery and death, there's a new government that will hopefully succeed in stabilizing Syria. They've had their share of...
Alex, I just sent you a text and an email.
I saw it.
We got to bring it up when you have time.
my administration
Send it to my
has
email.
already taken
I did.
the first steps toward restoring normal relations between the United States and Syria for the first time in more than a decade. And I'm very pleased to announce
Looks like you
that
texted it to me.
Secretary
What's that, Alex?
will be meeting
Looks
with
like you texted it.
I emailed it too.
Okay.
after discussing the situation in Syria with the
Uh-oh, we lost audio. There
Erdogan
we
of
go.
Turkey, who called me the other day and asked for a very similar thing, among others, and friends of mine, people that I have a lot of respect for in the Middle East. I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance to act like this.
Interesting move. There it is. There's the one. I'm ready, President Trump. Put me in. Half Lebanese and half Syrian. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Shalhoub.
That's me.
Oh, what I do for the Crown Prince.
What did he say? He's doing what?
Than a decade.
Oh, what I do for the Crown Prince.
And I'm very pleased to announce that Secretary Marco Rubio will be meeting with the new Syrian foreign minister in Turkey later this week. And very importantly, after discussing the situation in Syria with the Crown Prince, your Crown Prince, and also with President Erdogan of Turkey, who called me the other day and asked for a very similar thing, among others, and friends of mine, people that I have a lot of respect for in the Middle East. I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance to act like this.
Looks like we got about 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Maybe 3.
Served as an important function, nevertheless, at the time, but now it's their time to shine. It's their time to shine. We're taking them all off, and they're going to have, I think they're going to have, based on the people and the spirit and everything else that I'm hearing about. So I say, good luck, Syria. Show us something very special like they've done, frankly, in Saudi Arabia. Okay, they're going to show something special. Very good people. Everywhere we can, my administration is pursuing peaceful engagement, offering a strong and steady hand of friendship to all that will take it in good faith. Together, we have made unprecedented strides and tremendous progress, and we're still just at the dawn of the bright new day that awaits for the people of the Middle East, the great, great people of the Middle East. If the responsible nations of this region seize this moment, put aside your differences and focus on the interests that unite you, then all of humanity will soon be amazed at what they will see right here in this geographic center of the world. It really is. It's like a center of the world and the spiritual heart of its greatest faiths. For the first time in 1,000 years, the world will look at this region not as a place of turmoil and strife and war and death, but as a land of opportunity and hope, just like you've done right here, a cultural and commercial crossroads of the planet. Security and stability will lift millions into lives of safety and success, and the nations of this region will be free to realize your highest destinies, honor your proud histories, harness amazing new opportunities, and bring incredible glory to Almighty God. People will come from all over the globe to be inspired by the cities you build, the businesses you create, the technologies you invent, and the beauty, talent, and potential you unleash right in the hearts of your citizens. Each of you will be able to take tremendous pride in the legacy you will leave to your children.
Good morning,
Because you
Crystal.
will have given them the ultimate blessings of prosperity and peace, so important. In the United States, we've launched the golden age of America. It's the golden age. We see it. We see it with all that money, trillions and trillions of dollars pouring in, hundreds of thousands of jobs coming in with it. And with the help of the people of the Middle East, the people in this room, partners throughout the region, the golden age of the Middle East can proceed right alongside of us. We will work together. We will be together. We will succeed together. We will win together. And we will always be friends. Thank you. So, Mohammed, I want to thank you again very much for having me. And as a representative of what I think is the greatest nation in the world, we are with you all the way, and you have a tremendous future. Thank you very much. And please pay my respects to your father. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good job.
Listen to what they're playing.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
The Crown Prince is going to do the YMCA, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Wow.
man. Hey, I've got to make a real quick phone call. I'll be right back.
Okay. Can you switch the screens, Alex?
I am working on it as we speak.
Okay.
I love that. It makes me so happy because it's just, he talks a lot about peace, a lot about friendship.
Yep.
There is a friendship act. It's like, I don't know what the whole thing is, but it's something freedom or something friendship act.
Mhm.
And I just love that he's implementing that. He says that over and over again. Like, come on, you guys, we're not enemies. We're not, come on.
Exactly. And it's peace through strength. That's the practical application of that phrase. So I agree with you 100%. Dave, what are your initial thoughts on President Trump's speech?
He's representing us very well and moving forward with his plan.
Yeah, absolutely. James?
Sure.
Oh yeah, 110% with Dave. He is definitely moving forward with the plan, and the pharmaceutical topic comes to mind when listening to him speak. I think that's one of the reasons why he's there.
Yeah, I would agree. I would absolutely agree. So because we jumped on early and I don't want to keep people too long, I think what we'll do today, everyone, is we'll go through our normal presentations in terms of what we normally talk about. And then we will wind it up for today because I don't like to keep people on more than an hour and 10 minutes if we can help it. So let's see, who should we start with today? How about you, Dave, farming and agriculture?
Corn progress. It's 62% across all United States, and soybeans are 48%. That's way up on the normal average. So a lot of the United States is getting very good conditions. The USDA is going to halt live animal imports from from Mexico. I think it's that flesh-eating bug is 700 miles away from the U.S. border. So.
Oh, really? So what are some more
Yeah.
details on that whole flesh-eating bug supposedly deal?
Apparently cattle and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's lack of treatment or whatever down there. So
Huh.
I believe they're trying to get ahead of it for the most part.
And do you believe it's real?
Well.
Because the only reason I ask that is because beef prices have beef income has gone up significantly. And it would be kind of interesting. Oh, wait a minute. I think we lost Alex. Hold on one second. Okay, I got you back, Alex, I think. Anyway, I'm just wondering if there isn't some move being made behind the scenes.
Well, I'd assume it's real. It all depends. But, with the EU added with the huge beef thing, prices of beef is going to go even higher. So
Right.
for the short term until farmers can up their numbers, because up until a year or two ago, it wasn't hardly worth growing cattle, but now it's finally worth it.
Right.
It's a huge industry here where I'm at. And just Friday night, I was sitting with a friend of mine who raises cattle, and beef prices right now are at the highest they've ever been.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because if we go back to 5 years ago when we were in the middle of what we were dealing with in 2020, I know that there were personal friends of mine that were literally being paid to shovel their livestock, both swine and cattle, into holes, which
Wow.
I think kind of creates maybe what that shortage is. But we'll see how it ferrets out for sure.
Right. Exactly. Is that it, Dave?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Let's go to James for a military update.
Well, interestingly enough, after listening to President Trump, Kim Jong-un from North Korea decides to send 10 to 12,000 soldiers and a bunch of weapons over to aid Russia and Ukraine. So that's a new twist.
Well, like the other board that we watch, what if POTUS, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, and Putin are working together behind the scenes? And I believe that's exactly what's happening. But go ahead.
Interesting. So the Marines deploy a second F-35B squadron to Japan for modernization. So they want to occupy the territory with fourth and fifth generation fighters, and they're going to be on 2 rotations. So 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, 2 out. And the last 2 was Marine Fighter Attack Squadron 211 out of Yuma, Arizona. And they're basically beefing up operations in the Indo-Pacific region.
Excellent. Okay.
And one last thing. If you haven't supported, or if you don't support your local VFW, in 1992, they had 2.1 million members. As of this year, they have just a little over 1 million.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe we could.
Do you have to be a veteran to support them?
No, of course not.
I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for the audience.
Oh no, you can go at any time. A lot of places they used to say don't wear your hat indoors, but they're pretty lax on that now. So
Maybe you could put the link in the chat, James. The link.
VFW, sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. Sarge, USMC Sergeant said, I raise beef as well, making a good profit right now. Good. We should be making profit. That's what it's. Oh, boy, did we just lost Alex again? Huh. All right. Well, Lee, let's go to you for your daily. Are we doing sovereignty or astrology or both?
Pretty much both. I did hear that he even used the word sovereign a couple times, which was nice. Again, it's going to be words that I'm looking for as he talks. But we did go through a huge shift last night. Don't know if anybody felt that. With the full moon, it's a floral moon, but the shift is basically like taking you to a higher level. So you're either going to feel that, or it's going to be kind of the same rat race, the same, rigmarole. But if you felt that, you may feel a different energy today, as in like a higher platform, or you may feel like you've expanded your energy a little bit more. So it's nice to then wake up to this, to hear, the terminologies that he's using and such. So it's just really, I don't know, it's refreshing, very refreshing.
I agree. 100%. I agree. Okay. So I'm a little discombobulated here. Alex keeps dropping in and out. We're out of sync. We're starting different ways.
I don't even know what the hell just happened. It just, no message, no nothing. On my box just closed.
Yeah, no big deal. All right, you're back. So what we're doing, Alex, is we went through everybody's daily report. Let's do yours.
Here, I don't know what happened. So crude oil sitting at $63.80 per barrel. S&P 500 is up 52 points. The Dow is down 190, and the NASDAQ is up 334. Gold is up $30 to $3,258. Looking at the crypto market, we're up and up. Bitcoin's up 1% to $104,087. Ethereum is up to $25.93. XRP down slightly, but still up for the week at 256.
Excellent. Okay. Hey, Lisa Maria, my apologies. We started early, and I wanted to ask you a question off camera later. If you could give me a call or send me a text, I want to add you to our panel text chain. Oh, hold on, everybody. I got to put a piece of a puzzle together here. Oh, wait. Unable to verify. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
There we go. All right. Anyway, Lisa Marie, if you would send me a text later when you have time to talk, and I'll fill you in on the details. All right, everybody. So as I said, we came on early. We wanted to catch President Trump speaking at Saudi Arabia, and he did a phenomenal job. I just, you know, I would like everybody to make, if you'd like, a final thought on what we just saw with President Trump, and then we'll move to closing. So, Dave, what do you think? Last thoughts on President Trump?
I was excited for this trip over there. It may open up a lot of can of worms. Obviously, Saudi Arabia is on our side. I haven't heard anything on tariff talks. Is that what they're going into now, or is that what the plan was?
Right.
I think the plan is the emerging market that's happening in Saudi Arabia. So that's why you're seeing Amazon and Johnson and Johnson, and I saw Elon Musk there as well. You know, what is the future of their space program? Like, I think it's. Sorry, I hijacked it. But that's what it's.
You're fine. Yeah, I was just curious on what it all consisted of. Well, that's exciting because that's going to open up huge markets for everybody.
Exactly, and it's very interesting when President Trump said he says all these bombs, and hopefully we'll never have to use them, but we have things that people wouldn't believe we have, and that was a very telling speech that he made in terms of hidden technologies, I believe. But we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Lee, any last thoughts on President Trump's speech?
Not really, other than just listening to the cadence of his voice, the gait of his voice. He seemed very calm, which was nice. He seemed very put together. This is what I want to say. This is what I want to make sure everybody knows, that everybody's on the same page. And it was just nice. It was nice. And there was a couple times it was kind of like, you know, kind of tears in the eyes, kind of things like, thank you.
Right.
You know, like, oh, finally, we're not
100%.
just warring with everybody.
100%.
You know? Mm-hmm.
James, any last thoughts?
I did read this in the chat, and I'm going to say it because I believe that I was actually thinking he was speaking from the heart. There was no script. It was all just coming right from his heart. And I was appreciative of that. I think that he did energize the Saudis. They like to hear him speak. Some people, you know, he come out to say that he has a monotonous voice or tone about him, but he brought a lot of information. And anytime that the President of the United States praises Saudi Arabia, they like that.
Yeah.
They really like it.
Of course.
They welcome him with open arms, and I'm sure that this marks the beginning of a huge trade balance with Saudi Arabia.
Right.
$600 billion investment Saudi Arabia is going to make.
Wow.
An AI and a defense deal.
Yep.
Rack 'em up.
Alex, any last thoughts?
I'm trying to pause something here, which I thought was very interesting. It's the arrival of Trump in Saudi Arabia. As he gets off the plane, you know, the beast is driving down the road with the horses leading the way, but then they stop underneath a gazebo, and the national anthem of the United States is playing. Let me pause this right here. And so this is something I thought was interesting. Much like the logo was an American flag wave of
Right.
business, ingenuity, partnership. Anyway, but this caught my attention. Make of it what you will. But you have President Trump. Here, I'll put it in the big box. You have President Trump with a highly decorated Marine standing behind him, doing what? Saluting both of them during the national anthem.
That might be the JAG officer. That may be JAG, but go ahead.
Somebody else, which is a highly decorated Saudi Arabia general, is also doing what during the national anthem for the United States.
Interesting.
I was like, I mean,
Very
pretty
interesting.
interesting. Well, then they played additional music after, and I don't know if that's the Saudi national anthem, but they continued. They played another song, and during that song, Trump put his hand down, and both the Marine and the general from their side continued to salute until that song was over. So, again, it's kind of hard to see, but you know, maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something, I don't know, but I found it interesting that during our national anthem, their general was continuing the salute. Maybe that's a respect thing. Maybe it's nothing more than that. Maybe that's all it was. I don't know. Final thoughts on what we witnessed. Again, you know, peace through strength. If you go back to 2020 and some of the first trips that Trump took, if you can recall the imagery and the places that he went, the way things happened, some call it the capitulation tour. You know, immediately after his visit to Saudi Arabia in 2020, what happened with the Crown Prince's uncle? If you don't know, go look. It's a great time to be alive. We are continuing to tighten the grip around those that would sow chaos around the world. Lots of talk about Iran. I mean, the fact that he's going to lift sanctions on Syria, that's freaking huge for that country.
Oh, yeah.
Have some acquaintances that I know that are there now. They've been live on this app while gunfire was going off outside of their apartments. You know, Americans take for granted where we live and how we live. And as much as we think that there's bad things going on in this world, for us, we don't experience what other countries experience with machine gun fire outside of your apartment in the streets because there is a war raging on outside. We don't have that here, and thankful that we don't, but open our hearts to the compassion for other humans that are in places that don't have a life as good as we do, and appreciate what we were given. My kids, God love them, they hated it growing up with me as their father, because every time they would say, "That's not fair," my response would be, "It's not fair that you were born in America."
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That would put a lid on it, I would think. So once again, everybody, my apologies for being discombobulated today. There's just been a lot going on. When things change, it kind of throws me off kilter, but thank you for being here. Alex, can you bring up that one picture of me again, just to make sure that President Trump sees it? I want to make sure that President Trump is fully aware that if he needs me to step in Lebanon or in Syria, I'm ready to go. And just to make sure that he understands I'm prepared, this is a picture that I'm ready. I'm ready, President Trump. You just call on me, put me in, coach, and I'll get over there.
Hey, Sam, it makes me wonder who was the female that was standing behind Trump saluting? Was it Princess Diana?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that. I don't know. All right. Well, can we get it, Alex, or no?
Yes, sir. It takes me just a minute to flip cameras and lose filters. And
there we go. All right, President Trump, there is your next ambassador to Lebanon. I'm ready for the call. I'm ready. Put me in, coach. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here this morning. We are a little off kilter, as they said. We'll be back tomorrow.
Wait, Sam.
What?
No, Sam, hold on a minute.
What?
We can't go anywhere, brother.
What?
I want you to peek up in the top corner of your screen, please.
Oh, shit. Oh, hey, excuse my language. Yes. Oh, my gosh. We hit 80. I didn't even. Wow. I didn't expect that with all that was going on. Oh, yeah, that's it. Oh, everybody, we're dancing. I didn't realize it. All right, everybody, let's dance. Everybody at home, dance. Let's get some dance emojis in the chat. Here we go. There we go. Yeah. Everybody up and dance. Let's see it in the chat. There we go, yeah. And Alex has got the sombrero on today. There we go. More in the chat. Come on, everybody at home, stand up.
Alex will be the next ambassador to Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's see it in the chat, everybody. Let's get the dancing emojis going. And you better be dancing at home. All right. Good job, everybody. I can't believe I was shocked we actually hit the number today. Over 80,000 likes. You guys are fantastic. What a day. We have President.
Did you see how quickly the IT guy came through on that one for the followers? Let's.
Oh yeah, he is in a class by himself. All right, everybody. Like I said, we have got the proper commander-in-chief in office. We have people waking up in droves. We are moving towards a state of peace throughout the world. And as I always say, as we all know, the best is yet to come. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Please join us. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thank you for the likes. And we will see you all soon. Have a great day.